Hello. Now, some of you have been asking me some quite sort of similar questions with this correlation work that you've been having a look at. Product moment correlation coefficient, PMCC, or maybe Pearson's correlation coefficient. Okay, it's just Pearson was a mathematician, Carl Pearson. However, I don't want you to worry too much about the actual calculation, because to be honest, your calculator will do most of the work for you. That bit's relatively straightforward, but just a quick bit in terms of what we're actually doing. So we got something here, look, so here's a positive correlation, okay? So if you imagine kind of a line of best fit, okay, something like that. And effectively, what we're kind of doing is we're sort of looking at these, when you're actually working out the regression line, you're thinking about trying to minimize these distances here. Okay, and when you're kind of calculating it, it's actually considering sort of similar things. Okay, so but I don't want you to worry too much about that. Okay, here you go. Look, got something. It's just like a little bit of a negative correlation, possibly. Now, I think we get this wrong in terms of how it's presented. Okay, because you've just done some regression work. What's the point in doing the regression work if you haven't got a correlation? The correlation should be first. Like, for instance, here, yes, it is actually possible to work out a regression line here, but it won't make sense, does it? Okay, it's rubbish. You might even question it then. Yeah, okay, that seems fair enough. And that's the first thing that you need to know. You need to know whether whether there is a correlation. Now, what you'll look at next is you'll look at kind of significance levels, because you need to know, if you've got a correlation of 0.6, that sounds good, but how good is it? Right, let's have a look at a couple of the questions that sort of popped up. Look, for some reason, I've gone a few pages off. Right, question 4. I'm not going to do kind of some of the other ones there. I'm just going to have a quick look at a couple of these. Right, so the first bit of this question here, look, just fill the table in, calculate the right. Just all you've got to do is just think about this is that's your explanatory variable, the response variable, and then you just go and plug those into your calculator and you should get that there. Right, that's very close to -1, right? It's like near perfect negative correlation. It's close as you're going to get, really. So when it comes on to C, yes, and actually it's suggesting a decay model. Okay, now the tricky bit is the last bit, right? Part D. Right, so what I've done is I've written down what do we know, right? Tells me this just here. Apologies about my printer, by the way. Running out of ink. Notice I changed it around. Okay, I always like to write that bit first, like you would write y equals mx plus c. What else are we told? We're trying to get it into this form just here. All right. So let's just kind of think about what we know. Well, what is y? Y is log n. So let's just write this out a nicer way. Right, it actually makes sense of what we've really got. And then we've got minus 0.320x they're using for t. Okay, to be honest, I would have just left it as t in the first place, kind of changing the letters, probably more confusing, plus 2.487. Now, this is the nice bit. This is what you really need to kind of get into the idea of doing, is thinking about how this corresponds over here. So let's take the log of both sides, okay? Something that we've talked about before. Log n equals, oops, it's not a base, equals. Now, I'm going to do it longer way to start with, but remember, you'll get better at doing this, and you can, actually, as you get good at doing this, you'll be able to say, oh yeah, that bit's that bit, and you can do it quite quickly. Right, let's think about our laws of logs. This splits, doesn't it? So we can actually write log a plus log b to the t. That's a power, so the t comes outside. T log b plus log a. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this part here. I'm going to make it a bit like, just make it a bit like this up here. All right. So what have we got? we've got log n equals, now I'm going to reorder this here. You can argue, kind of think, oh, why did you change that bit around? I just, I always am consistent about how I go and write it down. Okay, I suggest that you do the same. If you want to do it a different way, as long as you're consistent, then it's okay. So all I'm doing is I'm writing down this here, plus log a. Right, now remember, I want to work these things out. Okay, that's what I'm after, a and b. What do we know? Let's go and have a little look, so we know what's the difference of the two things. Log b equals that. Log a equals that. Write those things down. Log b equals 2, 2. Just do inverse log of that. I'll tell you that. Do the same for this one. Okay? And you'll get your a and a b. When you've got a and b as well, don't just write, oh, a is this, b is this. Actually, rewrite this. Okay? Write n equals, right, whatever those things actually are. All right? Now, there is one more quick question. Okay, question 5. Let's have a quick look at it. I haven't filled in the first bit. Okay, so you can just write in log w. There we go. Log n. There we go. And again, I don't really like this here where it says x equals and y equals, but okay, all right, then it's done it. Right, calculate product. Okay, so we've got a very strong positive correlation. So part C, yes, we can write it like that. Okay. So now let's make some sense of what we're actually told. So notice I've written it slightly different here. So now let's write in what is y. Y is log m equals, now it's just getting the confidence to go with these things. Right? They look horrible. Right? They look horrible. But actually, they're the sort of maths that once you've done a couple, makes you feel really intelligent. Okay, right. So what I've done is I've just rewritten it, and I've kind of got a mind on this. Now, it's not the only way of doing this question, to be honest with you. Many people, you can experiment. Actually, kind of think about if you can think about this in a slightly different way. Once you know what the right answer is, and have a little play. Right. So let's try and get this looking like this. Right. Think about how it's going to work. So if I take log of both sides, okay. Remember, trying to undo this power thing, and the way of doing that is using logs. So now think about what's going to happen. So if I take the log of, I'll just put in again. Once you get quicker at doing this, look, you could do this bit kind of quite quickly, right? That's going to equal log w, okay? Because it'd be that n comes outside, and then we've got plus log k. Now directly compare this and this bit. Okay, so what have we got? Now this time we can see what n is. Okay, that's there. And we can also see what that bit there is. Actually, this one's arguably a little bit easier, isn't it? Because that's the only thing I've really got to work out. What have we got? We've got log k equals 0.464. So just to make sure you're okay with that, then just means this. Remember, you can also think, whoops, just so you can see which button I'm pointing at. Right, you've got log. We use the inverse log, right? So we just do inverse log 0.464. Fingers crossed. So k must equal 2.91. I don't know if it says number of decimal places or significant figures. We'll do that. We know what n is, so remember, just go back and actually be bothered to write this down as well. M equals, so k is 2.91. Also think about the context as well, right, about what these numbers actually mean. and then we've got W, and then to the power 1.88. There you go. All right, so hopefully that's useful. And I understand the confusion there. I understand that looks a little bit tricky. The more you practice them, the better that you'll be at those. All right, so if you've got any questions, all right, let me know, and I'll try and put something together. And if you're still not sure about this, again, just let me know, please, and I'll do a little bit more for you. Okay, don't worry too much about the PMCC part for the moment. Okay, we can, when we're back, we'll go and have another look at those. All right, there you go. All right.